Hi, everybody. So it's Harry and Meghan day, I want to say day 3 in Nigeria. This outfit was, I think, day 1, although Sussex Squad will correct me if I'm wrong. This was not today. Today, I think Meghan wore a yellow outfit, but the reason I wanted to use this photo was because I saw this article about Meghan's footwork in footwearnews.com. And basically, yeah, they were talking about how trendy she looked in her sandals. And she wore it to watch volleyball, according to the article. And it's just, again, the coordination between Meghan and Harry on this trip is just really amazing. And so what does it say here now? The Duchess has become known over the past decade for her pump and stilettos preferences. In April, she slipped on a pair of Purist 105 heels from Aquazzura, which featured a 4.3-inch heel. I don't know how anybody does that. Do you have any idea how someone does that? Where they wear like shoes with a 4-inch heel. There's no way. There's no way. I do have heels. In the apartment. And, every now and then I get in the mood. I may put one on and, walk around the apartment. But I couldn't wear 4 inches outside the apartment. There is no way. So I really admire Meghan for that. But so they mentioned that just to sort of juxtapose it with the sandals she wore in Nigeria, which is definitely more my my kind of height for shoe. I'm like, not necessarily the sandals so much, but flats. I love flats. Okay, but she looks really amazing in her stilettos, and she handles them like a pro. And so do a lot of these young women to girls. I get in trouble for calling her girl. These young women today who wear these very high shoes. I'm impressed. I really admire it. The only caveat is, what happens when you're 60 and 70 and what it does to your, what do you call that? Your, whatever that is. I think it gives you like bunions or something when you're 60. So, they should balance it. And Meghan is doing that by wearing flats in Nigeria. So kudos to her. Anyway, so the Nigeria trip seems to really be irking everybody in the UK, including and especially apparently King Charles the Vindictive. So according to the UK Sun, for example, Harry and Meghan are a bunch of full royals. And they had this article on the 10th. Are you sure this isn't a royal tour? Harry and Meghan are hosted by Nigerian minister, watch dances, and visit school. And so that makes it a royal tour. But in this case, they're saying it's a full royal tour. And I'm just like, how ridiculous can these people be? So Meghan and Harry no longer live in the UK. They're no longer working royals or senior working royals. It's a question mark if they're even members of the royal family at all, given how they've been treated, especially Harry lately with his father and the Invictus Games service at St. Paul's and the boycott, etc., and the taking away of Harry's honors that he earned for fighting in Afghanistan and all that, right? That aside, are we now saying that Meghan and Harry are not allowed to take a holiday? They're not allowed to go on vacation. They are not allowed to accept invitations from others, such as, government, heads of states, or just anyone at all without the approval of the monarchy. You're saying they have to clear their trips with the monarchy, with King Charles the Vindictive and his courtiers before they say yes? It just defies logic and reason. I don't know why King Charles the Vindictive and his associates would think that they have any jurisdiction over Meghan and Harry at this point. It seems to me that any anywhere they want to go, and anyone who wants to invite them to places is their business, and it's not at all the concern of anybody in the UK, unless they are coming to the UK and there's a question of security, which we already know Charles's position on that. Just leave them loose, and whatever happens to them, right? That seems to be his position, right? I mean, I don't know, but it seems to me, right? But outside of the UK, it seems to me that he has absolutely no jurisdiction over Harry and Meghan's vacation plans, even if their vacation plans, their vacation trips look like, quote unquote, royal tours. They don't have a trademark on royal tours. They don't have a monopoly on royal tours. As far as I'm concerned, anybody who wants to take a royal tour or anything that looks like a royal tour has the right to do so, and that includes Harry and Meghan, and it's no business of King Charles the Vindictive. Now, one other thing I wanted to just bring up in this particular video before I sign off is the fact that King Charles the Vindictive is alleged to have said that he is not going to put the weight of the monarchy behind the Invictus Games. We know that Harry and Meghan are in Nigeria to promote the Invictus Games right after Harry was in the UK at the 10-year anniversary service at St. Paul's Cathedral to celebrate and honor the Invictus Games and the participants in the Invictus Games. So now King Charles has now come up with this rather bewildering and astonishing statement that he is not going to be putting the weight of the monarchy behind the Invictus Games, but that he is open to having a private relationship with Harry, whatever that means. But my big thing is, why would King Charles the Vindictive think for 2 seconds or even for 5 seconds that the Invictus Games needs the weight of the monarchy at this point? It just seems to me so completely insane. It is clear to me, but I mean, I'm an amateur. I'm a clueless amateur, Sunday morning quarterback sitting on my couch. But it seems to me that the last thing that the Invictus Games need at this point is King Charles the Vindictive's support, or King Charles the Vindictive's monarchy throwing its weight on the Invictus Games. The Invictus Games has survived for 10 years, and it seems for at least 8 of those 10 years, but certainly for the past 4, that King Charles the Vindictive has had absolutely nothing to do with the Invictus Games, right? He has nothing to do with the Invictus Games. And they are going from strength to strength to strength. Governments are literally tripping over themselves to host the Invictus Games as compared to what's going on with the Commonwealth Games that King Charles the Vindictive is in charge of. So if anything, King Charles the Vindictive should be thinking about throwing his weight and the weight of the monarchy behind the Commonwealth Games. He shouldn't be discussing the Invictus Games, because the Invictus Games does not need him or the weight of the monarchy at this point. It is autonomous on its own. It is successful on its own. Harry and Meghan, being the face of the Invictus Games, are enough to drive the kind of publicity and, interest to those games that is needed to keep it up, keep it successful, and, keep it going from strength to strength. They don't need the weight of the monarchy. And the idea that King Charles is sitting in his cage, delusionally thinking that the fact that he's going to withdraw his support from the games is somehow going to make any difference at all to the outcome and the impact of these games is just astonishing. I mean, maybe he's going soft in the head on top of everything. But anyway, that's it for this one. Kudos to Meghan and Harry for how well they coordinated on this trip in terms of their style. I love the look. I love the sandals. I love Harry's outfit. And yeah, I mean, King Charles the Vindictive and his associates really need to get a clue. The Invictus Games does not need them. The successful trip in Nigeria is just the beginning of what's going to be happening as more and more governments invite Harry and Meghan for trips like this. Anyway, that's all for this one. See you in the next one. Take care. Bye.